All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, excited to be back.
You know me, I love a good biopic.
Who doesn't?
But sometimes you want something
Yeah.
a little different,
A little conventional.
unexpected, a little more surreal, shall we say.
I like where this is going.
And that's exactly what we've got today.
Oh.
We're diving into the world of Salvador Dali and his mustache.
Of course his mustache.
With a brand new film that's anything but your typical paint-by-numbers biopic.
Sounds intriguing already.
Our guide for today is a review from Movie Ticket Films, and they gave the movie a very impressive 8.5 out of 10,
Okay, that's a pretty solid score.
and they called it a surreal delight.
Ooh, I love that.
But what really caught my eye was the title of the film,
Okay, hit me with it.
Dali, with 4 A's.
Okay, that's a choice.
It's a real fake biopic,
A
apparently.
real fake biopic. Okay, I'm hooked already just from that tagline.
Right. It's like,
What does that even mean?
what does that even mean? How can something be real and fake at the same time?
I'm intrigued.
It's Dali.
True to form.
I mean, the guy was a walking paradox.
Exactly.
So maybe a real fake biopic is the only way to tell his story.
I think you're right.
So how does this real fake biopic actually play out on screen?
Right.
Well, the film uses not one, not two, but 5 different actors to portray Dali at different points in his life.
Wow, 5 different actors.
5 different Dalis.
That's ambitious.
Gilles Lelouch, Edouard Baird, Jonathan Cohen, Pio Marmaille, and Didier Flamand.
That's quite a lineup.
It's like a Dali dream team.
I love it.
So I have to ask, is this casting choice genius or just plain chaotic?
You know, I think it's genius. And
Okay.
here's why. I mean, think about Dali's persona.
Right.
He was a master of self-invention,
Oh, yeah.
constantly playing with identity,
Blurring those lines.
blurring the lines between reality and dream.
He was a walking, talking paradox.
Exactly.
Like, how do you capture that essence in a single performance?
You can't.
So by using 5 different actors, it's almost like each
Yeah.
one is embodying a different
Facet
of his personality.
different brushstroke in this larger-than-life portrait.
Right. They each bring their own unique interpretation to the role, so you get a much more well-rounded view of this very complex man.
I would love to see how these different actors interpret him differently.
Oh, I know, me too.
Like who's playing the more flamboyant Dali and who's playing the more introspective one.
Right. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I guess we'll just have to watch the film to find out.
exactly.
So, all right, we've got 5 Dalis running around.
Okay.
What's the plot of this movie? What's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
Well, the review mentions that the story is centered around a French journalist
Right.
who is trying to interview Dali.
Sounds straightforward enough.
You would think so.
Yeah.
But of course, this is Dali we're talking about.
Right.
So instead of your typical question
Yeah.
and answer session,
Yeah.
she gets swept up in this whirlwind of bizarre
Yeah.
Dali-esque encounters,
Of course.
which is much more fitting, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. It's Dali. I mean, if it were just like a straightforward interview, that would be so boring.
I know, right?
So I'm glad they took this more creative route.
Me too. And it makes me think of that scene in Hitchcock's Spellbound
Oh, yes.
where Dali designed that dream sequence.
Yes. The melting clocks in the
That
eye.
is so iconic and so
See
crazy.
perfectly Dali.
So yeah, I think this film is definitely trying to capture that same kind of surreal and dreamlike atmosphere.
And I think that narrative choice is really clever.
Okay.
Because it allows the film to move beyond a strict biographical timeline.
It's not just checking off those milestones.
Exactly. It's not about, he was born here, he did this, he did that. It's about really immersing the viewer in his world, his thought process, his artistic obsessions.
It's about experiencing Dali,
Exactly.
not just learning about him.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about the director of this film.
All right.
Because the man behind the camera is none other than Quentin Dupieux.
Oh, interesting.
Now, for those who don't know, Dupieux is a French filmmaker, known for his offbeat, absurdist comedies like Rubber, which is about a killer tire,
A killer. Okay.
and Deerskin, which is about a man who becomes obsessed with his deerskin jacket.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
So yeah, his films are definitely out there,
Definitely unique.
but in a good way.
Yeah.
And it seems like he and Dali are a match made
In some strange dimension.
somewhere very strange.
So parallel universe.
Yeah, but the review made it sound like Dupieux's style is actually really well suited to this story.
I think it's a perfect pairing.
You do?
I do, because Dupieux's films often have this deadpan humor, this juxtaposition of the mundane and the ridiculous that is so reminiscent of Dali's own work.
It's like that lobster telephone.
Yes.
Yeah.
A perfectly ordinary object made utterly absurd by the unexpected addition of a crustacean.
Exactly.
And Dupuis excels at creating that same sense of disorientation and surprise.
It's like he's playing with your expectations.
Yeah.
Making you question what's real and what's not.
Which is perfect for a film about Dali.
Perfect for Dali.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about the music,
Right.
because this is where things get even more interesting.
Okay, I'm ready.
So the score for Dali is composed by Thomas Bangalter,
Wait a minute, Thomas Bangalter from Daft Punk.
the one and only.
Yeah.
But here's the twist. It's not the electronic music you might expect.
Hey.
The entire score is performed on an ancient zither.
A zither.
A zither.
I would not have seen that coming.
Right, it's so unexpected.
So Dali.
So Dali, right. It's like he's taking something very old
Yes.
and traditional and making it completely new and unexpected.
That's a great observation.
I mean, Dali was fascinated by the interplay between the classical and the avant-garde.
Think about his melting clocks.
Oh, yeah.
They're a classic image of time, distorted and rendered fluid.
It's like he's taking something familiar and making it strange.
Exactly, and Bangalter using an instrument with ancient roots to create a score for a film about Dali feels like a very deliberate echo of that artistic sensibility.
It's like they're speaking the same language. Okay, now let's talk about the visuals,
Right.
because the review went on and on about how stunning the film looks.
Okay.
They said the cinematography and production design are like stepping into one of Dali's paintings.
Wow.
They specifically mentioned a scene that evokes his iconic work, The Persistence of Memory.
With the melting clocks.
Yes,
Yeah.
those melting clocks draped over a barren landscape.
I can picture it.
It sounds visually stunning.
I mean, visuals are absolutely central to surrealism.
Oh, absolutely.
It's about making the familiar strange, taking everyday objects and placing them in unexpected contexts to create a sense of dreamlike disorientation.
And if this film truly captures that visual language, then it sounds like a must-see for any Dali fan.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've talked about the acting, the directing, the music, the visuals, but what about the story itself?
Right, the heart of the film.
The review said that Dali completely throws out traditional storytelling,
Interesting.
which makes sense considering Dali and surrealism.
Yeah, surrealism was all about rejecting logic and embracing the irrational.
So I'm guessing this film doesn't follow a typical three-act structure.
It sounds like it's more about creating a feeling and experience.
It's about capturing the essence of Dali,
Yeah, and his art.
rather than just telling a straightforward story.
It seems to be a celebration of the unexpected, a deliberate challenge to our expectations of what a biopic, or any film for that matter, should be.
It's about using the medium of cinema to create an experience that's as unsettling and thought-provoking as a Dali painting itself.
Exactly.
I love that.
Me too.
Okay, oh, and I almost forgot.
What's that?
The review also mentioned the humor.
Okay.
Apparently, Dali is a comedy,
A comedy.
but it's not your typical laugh-out-loud kind of humor.
Of course not. It's Dali.
Right, it's described as subtle but brilliant.
I imagine it's the kind of humor that sneaks up on you.
Yes,
Dupuis' humor isn't about punchlines or slapstick. It's about creating situations that are inherently absurd, letting the humor arise from the incongruity of it all.
it's the kind of humor that makes you laugh and then think, wait, why am I laughing? It's that head-scratching kind of humor
Yeah.
that makes you question everything.
Which is perfect for a film about Dali.
Perfect for Dali.
Yeah.
So to sum it all up, Dali
Yeah.
isn't just a film about the artist. It's an attempt to be the artist, to translate his essence into a cinematic experience.
I like that.
It's surreal, it's funny, and it sounds absolutely unforgettable.
It really does.
This all makes me wonder, does a film like this ultimately demystify Dali or make him even more enigmatic?
That's a great question.
Can you truly capture a figure like that? Or do you just end up with more questions than answers?
I don't know, but I'm definitely eager to find out.
Me too. Well. That about wraps it up for this deep dive into Dali.
Great discussion.
If you're looking for a film that's as unconventional and mind-bending as Dali himself, definitely check it out.
And don't forget to check out moviekticket.com for more insightful film reviews.
Until next time, happy diving.
See ya!